Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Niko, and joining with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How's it going?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. As you know, I've been doing a lot of celebrating this past weekend, it being my birthday and all. And I'm ready to talk some comics here with you today. Have a few more beers. So yeah, always an exciting time. This is episode 221 of Comic Shop Talk. And make sure to like and subscribe. This is our weekly comic book review show, everybody, where me and Chris get together every week and we talk about the comics that we've read and give you our thoughts and reviews or ratings on them. We check out some of the art. Sometimes we even get into some, comic book industry type talk, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure to tune in and subscribe. You can catch us here weekly. You can check out our previous episodes and all kinds of different other content here on the YouTube channel. Make sure to check out our playlist. And we started putting out a few little shorts there for you guys as well. So, as we figure that out, make sure to check those out as well. If you just kind of want to see some snippets, some quick reviews of stuff that we've talked about, maybe, you haven't been able to check out the whole episode, but you want to hear what we have to say about certain books. I'm going to try to put out some of the more interesting reviews there for you guys in that form as well. So, yeah, make sure to check those out. Today, we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the week of March 11th, 2026. And as I mentioned, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And as always, spoiler warning, if you're worried about us spoiling your books, because we are going to be talking about what happens to the books in order to properly rate them, review them, you can always read your books and then come back later and check us out. All right, Chris.
All right, let's talk comics.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, first up on the docket here today, we got new number 1 here this week, X-Men United number 1. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, when this was out on the pull list or in the solicitations, I was kind of tempted to get into this. Yeah, that's a nice cover here. I think they have almost the other side of that cover as a variant. And then, I kind of heard some things coming up about it, what they were planning on doing. And I'm sort of glad I didn't get into this. I don't know. It's just not fitting. I think the whole plan is now that Emma Frost has some like mindscape place where they can all go to talk and to learn and all that sort of business. And, everybody seems to be on board. I don't think Cyclops is on board because he feels now that everybody's in there together, that, something bad can happen, even though, Emma Frost is saying, she's kind of trying to put his fears to the side. But it does seem like something does happen in there that might test whatever they're doing inside there. But I guess they have to find some way to get all these mutants together. But where in the real world, everybody's all separated miles apart. It's nice seeing to see everybody together, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel right with everything else that's going on in the X-Men world.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm curious what you thought about this setup, because with every new X book, they got to kind of figure out a way of like, what's the base of operations going to be, and this one is the school themed book essentially now. Like it's just another like Xavier for gifted mutants type situation here. And as a result, you have like a big young cast of like newer mutants in this book, which again, that's always a hard sell for me. I mean, we do have a lot of the big players involved too, but you got to share the screen time with a lot of newer mutants as well. But what do you think of the idea that this is all kind of basically taking place in their mind, like a mindscape of theirs, like, right? Like that's basically what Emma's doing, right? Like she's connecting them all through their minds. They're able to step through a door and basically they're all occupying like their own mind space.
Yeah. Like what happens to their bodies when they go through this? Are they just like sitting in a closet?
That was my question. That's
like does time move there in like normal time? Like if they're in there for hours,
right?
Do hours go by in the real life where they all just sitting in a closet and they just step out and it's like nothing's happened?
Thank you. Exactly. That's my exact question that I was thinking to myself while reading this. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, that's a cool idea, and I kind of appreciated that they're trying to kind of like think outside the box in that sense. Like I'm like, okay, that's kind of a cool, interesting idea. But then I like you, I'm like, well, where are they though physically when this is happening then? Like, what are they like? Are they able to interact with people? If like, did they explain that in this or did like, yeah.
Really, like, you know, what if they are just kind of sitting in like, you know, like, I don't know, their whole body gets transported in there.
Right.
But, you know, I thought that seems to be something beyond Emma Frost's powers. Like, you know, I know she's telekinetic, but if they could do this, like, why wouldn't freaking Professor X have done this freaking years ago?
Not only that, like they're the other people that are accessing this place. Like I know this is all based on Emma setting it up for them, but at the same time, like they're not very adept, all of these new mutants, at doing this type of stuff either. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Like their skill level is not used to accessing this type of stuff. So I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's a cool idea, but once you start to kind of pick away at it a little bit, it kind of falls apart, at least for me. Like unless they're gonna get into it more and explain it more. But I think like just on paper, it sounds cool, but like in actuality, like it doesn't really, you know, hold that much. Like it falls apart for me a bit in that sense. Cause I had all those same questions that you're saying. Right. So yeah, I don't know. It wasn't bad, but I'm also not interested in this series. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I read it.
Same thing. Like
I tried.
Yeah. And you know, unless something big is going on, but it's all, I imagine they do have something big in store, but just this story of them trying to, you know, to teach the new mutants their new powers. Like, wasn't that happening in that Exceptional X-Men and that book died? You know, how many times can you be going through this again and, you know, trying to make it work and not changing anything really?
Which I think this is the replacement for that book, because this is the same writer, Eve Ewing, that's doing this, that was doing that book as well. And I think that's, as we saw with that that event that they did when everything came back, they kind of rebooted a bunch of the series with the same writers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad I didn't pick this up personally. First issue in, I'm just like, it's fine. Also, I'm kind of sick of like, again, they're going with the angle that Scott's a dick. Like every time with this, Cyclops is an asshole. He doesn't understand what's going on. He's going to include himself. Like that's like that trope is so old at this point. Like again, that they're going with that in this issue. Like I was like, you can't think of anything. Like maybe Cyclops for once believes in what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like
even if they're going to connect some of the stories, like wouldn't Cyclops be like trying to tell Emma Frost, go, look, I just came back from 10 years in the future and Revelation or whatever, Doug Ramsey just basically destroyed the Earth. You think we got to kind of work on that first, or at least end that story or end that future. But like that storyline is still kind of hanging around out there and they just kind of dropped it.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Like I think it's good that he's there to pose some of these questions as he does in this issue. That kind of is the role he plays. I get it, but I just feel like we've beaten a dead horse here with that kind of trope at this point of him like always being that guy, right? So so like even to include him in this, like even from outside looking in this series as the guy who's like commenting on what they're up to with this school. I don't know. It's just like, oh, here we go again with this pain in the ass Cyclops raiding on everybody's parade, you know, like and then the way this issue ends, I don't know what the hell happened there. It looks like he like, you know, set their place aflame or something. So I don't know what's going on there. Right. So I'm sure they'll find out next issue, but I don't know if I'll be reading it though. Quite frankly, we'll see. This might be one of those series I dip in and out conveniently and talk about on the show. Right. So anyways, what'd you give this?
Yeah, it's a 3.5. Nothing great in there.
I probably would go 3.25 out of 5, honestly, just based off self-interest. I thought the art was good. I thought, like, again, there's some good ideas in there, but it just felt very bland to me, like of a start. Another one of these false, like, they're not even like a full start, like, right? We're in the middle of like all this stuff that's been going on with the X-Men. And, you know, I don't think this is really bringing anything too much new to the table personally, but they acted like this was going to be a big deal, though. It sure didn't read like it. So, all right. Next up, we got another event here going on at the moment with this weekly Death Spiral Venom Spider-Man crossover. Got my issue here. I've been picking these issues up of Venom for the event.
I got some variant cover. I didn't know how I ended up with this, but the only Venom one they had there, so I had to take it.
Him and Doom.
Doom. I guess Doom's got a series of covers coming out this month, and I got that one. I wasn't really too concerned. I didn't think this month's cover was great, and I don't think they had any other great variants to go with it. But for the story, I think I'm still invested in this Death Spiral. I think it's starting out well with all with the stuff with Carnage being, or Eddie Brock, being the host of Carnage, and just kind of all the players realizing who's who really. Like I think when Carnage or Eddie Brock reveals himself that he's carrying Carnage, you can expect that to throw Venom into a loop. Just as in the one before when Mary Jane revealed to Spider-Man that she was with Venom, then that threw him in a loop. So I kind of like all these crazy things going on with these people figuring out. As for the story itself, I hope that picks up, because that's not it hasn't been a big feature of this story yet. It's basically just kind of little blurbs there. And it looks like this Torment character might have killed Eddie Brock's father. But otherwise, I'm still down for this. I think the art's great. I like all the characters. I like the way they're interacting. But I also have one question. I don't know if this is, maybe if you know this, or if this has been around, but with the symbiotes kind of turning into a head and going on there, being their own on their shoulder, was that something that was in comics, or was that just right out of the Venom movie?
I think this is new. I don't recall that ever being the case. I think this is something new. They may have been playing around with that in the comics for the past few years, for all I know. I don't read too much symbiote comics, so maybe it's been going on for a while. Do you not like it, or you like it?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm not a fan of having the head sitting out there. Even when Venom's doing it to Mary Jane, or Carnage is doing to this, because I've never seen that before. Oh. And the only time I've seen that was out of the Venom movie, because I guess they need the Eddie Brock there. Who's that guy? Tom
Hardy. Yeah,
Tom Hardy. He needs to talk to somebody in that, or he's just gonna be walking around with him in his head the whole time. And if that is the case, I'm not happy that it's sort of moved into the comics.
I also don't know if this is a result of the reasoning behind the fact that they are in both situations with Mary Jane and with Eddie Brock, from my understanding now, is that they were forced into these situations because they both needed each other to survive. So I don't know if they're only able to do this head thing as a result of the fact that they're, because like before the symbiote,
maybe they're not like truly bonded, let's say.
Right, exactly. Because before the symbiote would fully take over, but now it's like they're both sharing the body as a result. So maybe that's why it's able to do that. That's a good question, though. I didn't actually give that much thought. I will say, though, I'm also really enjoying this, and I'm so invested in like what's been going on with this story, and I think that these characters and the creative teams are all working really well together, quite frankly, that I went out and I picked up the Eddie Brock Carnage trade. Because remember, Chris, I told you I wasn't sure. I'm like, is Charles Soule writing a series? And apparently he is. Apparently the first trade came out a little while ago. And I got to tell you, I'm about halfway through reading this trade. It's pretty good. The reviews I read about this book were really good. And it's just an interesting premise of him getting stuck in the Carnage body. And because of his bloodthirst of like wanting to kill people constantly, he's basically like Dexter. He has to go out and seek like serial killers.
Kill bad people.
Right. I like it as an idea, quite frankly, honestly. And the fact that they're always like going up against each other, like I got a sample of it in this story. Then I looked up review because I'm like, is Charles, because Charles Soule, like when we first started talking about this event, I'm like, he's like the only odd man out, where I get why Al Ewing's writing it. I get why, Joe Kelly, like everybody else was writing their respective books. I'm like, but I never really pay attention to Carnage books. And before this, Torun Grunbeck was writing the series, so I probably wouldn't have checked that out because I, quite frankly, I haven't been impressed with some of her Marvel work, as we all know, viewers of this show. So, and I know I've never been like a symbiote guy. I always like just disregard all these books, but I gotta tell you, I guess I am. I'm all in on this. This is. And then I looked up the reviews, and the reviews were really good for this book, and I was like, okay, I gotta check out what that. And the artist, Jesus Saez, or the guy who did the first issue of this event, also does the art on this series, like at least 3 of the 5 issues in here he did. So yeah, it's not bad. I gotta say, it's an interesting kind of angle and I never realized that Eddie Brock never, because there's always Cletus Cassidy, who was a serial killer. So like the fact that somebody else is actually trying to test the Carnage symbiote by again being forced to use it to survive. I think it's an interesting idea for a storyline, honestly. I mean, there's only probably so far that will take you, or I'll be interested in it. But for now, I'm enjoying this.
I'm happy to be part of this.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I am enjoying it. What'd you rate this?
I give it a 3.75.
I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 on this week. It's probably my favorite issue, probably because, like I said, like between that and reading the trade, now I'm just like, yeah, I'm really getting into like this current status quo between these characters. I mean, the Venom series has been good. Yeah, so I'm liking this. I'm very surprised. Next up, big issue this week, so I had to put it in the initial rundown. Transformers 30. Big things happening in this one.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, for anybody out there that's been reading this, I think that this has been a big issue in terms of the status quo changing up on this one.
Oh yeah, I got my copy here. I didn't hear that on the roll call before we did this.
Oh, I forgot to shout it out.
Right?
My bad. 30, yes.
Yeah. Oh, you got a variant cover too. Nice.
Yeah, I got the DWJ one. Yeah.
Yeah, big things happening this Transformers comic. And rightfully so. You know, I think this Alita 1. She basically calls out Prime and says, hey, you know, we got a freaking war going on in our country or on our home world, and you're stuck here. You know, we need all the resources we can have. I don't really care about this planet. It's got nothing to do with us. We need you back. And, you know, if you're not ready to do this, then, you know, maybe, you know, she challenges his leadership, you know, and then I thought he was going to kind of clap back, which basically says, you know, we're not like the Decepticons. Our leaders aren't, you know, taken through battle or through force. But then he ends up giving up the power matrix or whatever to her. Yes. I'm like, oh, what the heck is that about? You know? And then basically she gives the order to all the Autobots. You know, hey, if you want to stay here and stay here, but we got a war going on your home world, and we need all hands on deck. And then basically we kind of get an idea of who's who or who's staying and who's going. And I'm kind of happy about this because things were getting kind of crazy there. And I'm hoping, you know, whatever goes on Cybertron just might stay in the background for a little bit. And, you know, we get more of a tighter crew that's on Earth. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you don't have that sort of that power matrix to, you know, oh, we're all our backs against the wall. We're about to die. What are we going to do? Oh, let me open my power matrix and, you know, power all of us up. You know, that seems to be off the table now. So I'm interested to see where this goes. And, you know, once again, the art's great in this. This Mora, can't say anything wrong about him, man.
No, I'm quite enjoying him on this title. It took a little bit for me to kind of get used to him drawing this book, but like every other artist that's been on this title, it's just very consistent throughout the artwork on this series, honestly, no matter who's been drawing it. Yeah, this is a great issue, like a good change up of the status quo of this book and the future of this title. This part was crazy though, man. Like after he gave up the Prime status with that power matrix shit, like it was a very humbling moment because somebody like calls him Optimus Prime. He's like, no longer. I am just Optimus.
Yeah, somebody calls him Prime. It's just Optimus now. And then even the truck isn't as. It's not like it's not decked out.
His face mask, like he doesn't have like that.
Yeah, he doesn't have I was like, these are things I didn't realize. I don't know if the face mask is because you're a Prime. You know, that's just more a battle armor for you.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen Prime without the face mask.
I know, me neither. And then he kind of looked like a Trump a little. I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like it was just like a very like the way that he depicted him in that moment. It's just like he's just a regular guy now. You know,
I think it's like all his armor's got like I said, I don't know how they make it look like, but you know, even when he's in his Transformer mode, there, yeah. But he's just missing stuff. You know, like he doesn't have the big glass grill. He's got nothing on his shoulders.
Very stripped down. So like clearly like that gives him so much more power, that thing, like to kind of be the leader. I love that moment though. I thought that was great.
Yeah, even like with Ultra Magnus when like he's telling Prime, he goes, look, I gotta go back to Cybertron, you know, that's my job, you know. And he's like, I understand, you gotta do what you gotta do.
No, you're right. And I didn't see that swerve coming. I thought he was gonna, you know, test her loyalty by saying like, listen, I'm the Prime around here, you're gonna follow my directive. And he just said, no, I guess like it chose you. Like he opens up his chest and it's like, oh yeah, clearly you are more fit. Like you're right. Like right now they should be following you. I'm unfit for duty at the moment. And the other kind of shocking thing too, and you know, obviously things will go back at some point. she says, if you choose to stay here, you're also no longer an Autobot. Like, you're not part of our people anymore. If you stay here on Earth,
that can be reversed, no problem. That's just in words.
No, but still, just cool.
Yeah.
Just a cool moment, right? Like, but also, like, again, like, doesn't look as impressive now. Just like optimist, but
that could make such a difference.
I know.
Put a picking blanket around your face or something, pal.
Yeah, good stuff. Good issue.
Good stuff. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. What'd you give this?
I gotta give this 4.25 now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, 4.25 out of 5 for sure. Yeah. Even almost verging on 4.5. This is an excellent issue. Yeah. This is also, I think, the end of Robert Kirkman's first arc, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. I think he's been on the book since 25 or 24, 20. He's been. So this kind of, if you're going to pick up the paperback, the next one that has the Kirkman issues, I think this should be rounding out the trade, like this issue.
Yeah, imagine this is ending the trade, because wouldn't Wade, like,
right,
even freaking puts cliffhangers in his trades too. It's like, this is where the trade ends. Optimus Prime loses his power.
Because this is issue 30. So the next trade, because Daniel Warren Johnson ended on 24, so the next trade would be 25 to 30. Yeah, that makes sense. This is the end of his first arc, and quite the end. I again, Kirkman is very good at pacing and like in terms of like having big things happen at the start of the issues and end on the issues. Like, he's very good at doing that for the most part. He might slow roll some stuff out as well, but like,
someone's dying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, next up we got Absolute Batman number 18.
Ooh, another comic with a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. I just got the regular A cover.
With Absolute Batman, you can always go for the A covers.
Absolutely.
They seem to be the money covers to begin with anyways.
Yeah.
But again, we have a guest artist here, and he definitely steps up to the plate and knocks it out of the park. I thought it was great. I guess here we're starting out with Bruce Wayne, or is it Martha Wayne? Martha, yeah. So we get a bit of history with her, I guess, and her dealings with the Court of Owls. And it sounds like she's a Court of Owl OG. She's one of the Talons. And it looks like the way the Court of the Owls are now, they don't seem to be too happy with her. And, she's trying to set them straight. And I don't know, it happens off screen. They allude to her getting shot. But if she was actually shot, I imagine they wouldn't just allude to it. Like, they'd show the dead body lying on the ground. So
yeah, that's
sort of one of the balls up in the air. And then I guess the second one there, we have Jim Gordon. Basically, he confronts Batman, or he confronts Bruce, and basically says, "Hey kid, I got to talk to you about some things." And he basically tells him, "Hey, I figured out you're Batman." And then Bruce, all wonderstruck, "Oh, how'd you figure it out?" Goes, "Well, there's not too many 6'9", 400-pound people walking around in Gotham." So that was like it's just right on the nose. Yeah. And then on the main story, we have Batman fighting what's her name, Poison Ivy, and sort of interspersed they have Bruce trying to reach out to all his friends again, and it looks like they're all turning their back on him or not letting him, not wanting to talk to him. But this fight with Poison Ivy, holy smokes, he goes to town in there. Look at those chainsaws, the flamethrowers, and she's trying to reason. Well, I don't want to say reason with him, or maybe lure into joining forces with her, and evolve is what she always keeps on talking about, and to make, to make Gotham better. And basically, I think he uses some sound gun to reveal her heart, and then he cuts a deal with her. He goes, "Look, I found your weak spot here. It's your heart, and if you kind of stop what you're doing here, explode all these spores, we'll let it go." And then she does that. Then freaking out of the blue, which I thought was crazy, is that he still blows her away. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's a big change for Batman.
Well, at the end of this issue, that was the big reveal, is that he was like talking to Gordon, and then he's just like, I feel like I gotta go like darker here. Like I gotta go to a darker place in order to deal with everything that's been going on, like almost, right? Like he can't keep up with everything that's happening, right? And then you see him again. We've been seeing the transformation of him slowly over time, and also like how all of his friends kind of turn their backs on him because he kind of screwed them all over. And in this issue, they kind of touch on that too, about how like he keeps going to see them and they don't want to meet with them. He goes to like Harvey Dent's office and he got fired, or like all this stuff had happened as a result of exactly. So that's kind of been slowly developing in terms of like the Rogue situation and like over the last like while in this series. But in this one, there's a whole page there at the end where all of his friends, they start to like look for him finally, and he's nowhere to be seen. And then after he kills her in this, it seems like he even goes, they're like, oh yeah, don't hit her in the heart. Like, you don't kill her. And he does. And then it looks like he is truly going to like a darker place now. And like, where he's like, you know, I don't care anymore. Like, I will just kill these people, like, in order to like, kind of like do right by like,
if it's the city or the person here.
Yeah.
And then, you know, at least then you can see that there's going to be no redemption for Poison Ivy. You know, she's going to be out to get Batman. It's not like you're going to see her, you know, turn around to become a good guy somehow. Like, she is like, well, I think when she's getting arrested and taken back to Arkham there in that scene, she's like basically just kind of swearing vengeance on Batman. And it's odd to see the villain almost be in the right there. You know, hey, you made a deal. I followed what you said. And now, you know, you destroyed the most important thing to me, my heart. I'm coming at you full force now, and you better watch out. So
right.
I think it's just crazy stuff going on here.
Yeah, I think what's happening is, like, you know, Batman, at least the Batman we know, he always sticks by his code. But what we're kind of seeing here is slowly him starting to unravel. And like, when he doesn't have a code that he lives by anymore, like, watch out. Like, the gloves are totally off, it seems like now, in regards to how he's going to treat criminals, or like the dark place that he's going in his head. I don't know. It is interesting to see how this is slowly developed and like what he's chosen to kind of tweak. And it is nice that Scott Snyder, the person who created the Court of Owls way back in his New 52 run on Batman, like 10 years ago or so, or whatever that happened now, more than that. It's kind of interesting that he gets to, again, kind of tell like a different story with those characters. So, because he is the guy who kind of created that, who created those characters in his run. So that's, if anybody's going to do it, I'm glad it's him. So yeah, it's very, very cool. Again, there's so much on the go right now in this series that's happening. So many balls in there to kind of like, it's another solid issue. Yeah. What'd you give this?
Yeah. I might have to give this 4.25 as well, you know.
After talking about it.
I was going to give it a 4, but like I said, there's just so much going on here, and it's all good stuff.
Yeah. After talking about it, also 4.25. Absolutely. All right, Chris, you got a few here that you read this week. Meals to Astonish #1.
Oh yeah. After Batman, this is just, you know, it's just some fluff. It's okay fluff. It's fun. There's like three or four stories. I think the first one there, Peter Parker, he's been tasked to go with the Daily Bugle's, I guess, food critic to go see some new restaurant. And the owner of this restaurant, he feeds people after disasters and things like that. And he just opened a new restaurant, and the cook seems to be, or the chef, he seems to be a stand-up guy. And of course, they opened some new restaurant in wherever, New York, and Electro shows up because this guy hasn't been paying any sort of protection money. And then then it's basically the chef and Spider-Man are fighting Electro. And, you know, there's just some kind of good food sort of type puns in there. And it's not a bad story. I think the second one was, I think, a spider ramen or something. I don't know what the heck that was about. But and he's like a bowl of ramen that's Spider-Man, and he's like floating around. It's just 2 or 3 pages, and the story doesn't really end. It says, like, you know, oh, you make my broth boil. And then it says, you know, continued on page 44. And of course, there's no page 44. Then there's that Jeff the Land Shark story. He's with some character. I don't know if it's a character known in the Marvel Universe or not. But I think they're like part of the Mojo verse. And basically they're on some sort of cooking contest. And you know, of course, Jeff the Land Shark, he starts eating all the ingredients, and if you win, Mojo, he'll send you back to Earth, you know, safe and sound. And if you lose, you become ingredients for the next cooking show. And you think, oh, Jeff the land shark's going to be messing everything up because he's eating all the ingredients. But I guess he saves enough, and then the cook makes some, I don't know, chicken salad sandwich or whatever. Mojo thinks it's the greatest, and he goes, "Bah, but of course this was a main course sort of contest, not a sandwich contest. We'll see what the other team provides." And the other team, I think they had some fancy meal there that Mojo was about to reveal. And then when he opens it up, there's nothing in there because Jeff the land shark ate that meal too. And then you just see their contestants or the other contestants floating up in space because now they're going to be the ingredients for the next show. And then Jeff the land shark and the other cook is like, "Oh, he was just joking about that, right?" And you go, yeah, I think so. Well, that's a fun story. And then you had one with Iron Man and some lady that had a food truck, and Iron Man kind of just smashes into the food truck after battle with Fin Fang Boom.
Yeah.
You don't really see Fin Fang Foom at all, but after he smashes the truck, he tries to make amends. He tries one of her sandwiches. It's the greatest thing he's ever eaten. And then he tries to get her to become his personal chef. And then kind of all this stuff goes on, and then he ends up having a birthday party for Wasp.
Right.
And she makes something special, and of course she made chicken that Jarvis used to make or something. And then all the other Avengers were there, and then they're just so happy to taste kind of some familiar food that they might have not had since Jarvis isn't around anymore.
Right.
Some good. It was just some good fluff stuff. Nothing crazy. I wouldn't run out and buy it, but if you had a chance to read it, it's not bad. I give it a 3.5.
Yeah, it sounds like you're kind of tapping into the crowd. Like there's a lot of food related manga and stuff out there that's
what I thought. There was a lot of that sort of manga feel to it.
Yeah, that's kind
of Asian food. I think like that food truck owner, he was Asian or something, and then Spidey ramen.
Mm-hmm. No, there is a lot of manga that has to do with food in the plot, like in terms of even the titles of these things. So yeah. That kind of, I feel like that's what they're tapping into there for sure. Yeah, it sounds about right.
I don't want to break into that manga market with this one though.
No. Next up, we got Planet of the Apes versus Fantastic Four #2.
I've been loving this. I'm not sure why they wrote this comic though, or the market they're going after. Like if Marvel is going after younger people, there's no young people that are going to know who these Planet of the Apes are. Like these are apes from the 60s. Yeah. They might have been on reruns in the 70s and the 80s. And I haven't seen these things on TV ever anywhere else. Like, I don't know if they're on some sort of streaming platform. Like, I don't even know who they belong to now. But I was a fan of this back in the 70s or 80s when this came out. And, I'm familiar with all the characters. They make a few references to the original Planet of the Apes. I think when Charlton Heston was there, they called him Bright Eyes. And here they said, well, and you're not the first human that could talk. We met Bright Eyes, and he had a ship here. And then basically now those apes that turned into the Fantastic Four, they're outcasts of the tribe now too, because now they got these powers, and ape is only ape, and I think there's some outsiders in there that there's somebody stirring up the pot with the apes that aren't living in Ape City to attack Ape City, and then they have to run out there. But anyways, they end up digging up Charlton Heston's ship, and hopefully there's something in there that can bring them home. And now Doom has arrived on the planet too, and he's not getting pushed around either. So
of course,
it's all just so great. It's good campy stuff. If you love Planet of the Apes, you like Fantastic Four, this is a great mashup. But once again, this has to be written for people like me, people in their 50s. Like I can't see anybody, in their 20s loving this unless, they're like some, they love the movies from the 70s or something. They're watching this, they're watching Omega Man or like the original Westworld or something like that. But I don't know. I love it.
Omega Man.
I'll give it a 3.75.
Nice. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I actually was planning on reading this one. I read the first one, but now that Doom showed up, though, I might have to jump back in on that next one. I just forgot to read it. I think to answer your question too, I think Fox owned them, which now is owned by Disney, which is why that Marvel is able to print these comics. Like that's
Yeah, well, I don't think you're seeing these on the Disney Channel.
no, they might be on there actually. The older movies,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. They might be. I haven't checked, but yeah, I think that's
One line when Doom does show up, I think one of the apes see him. He goes like, "Are you man or are you ape or are you human?" He's like, "I am Doom." And
that's perfect.
yeah,
And then you got Magic and Colossus #2.
yeah, I was a great fan of this. I know you enjoyed the first one. I guess here they're digging deep into the relationship with Magic and Colossus, where Colossus feels that that he let his sister get kidnapped by by Limbo or by Lasco or whatever happened to her, and he's feeling guilty about that, and he's not really forgiving himself. And of course, now they're on their journey through Russia with all these Russian folk tales or sort of cryptids coming after him. And and then they kind of have some heart to heart where Magic is basically telling Colossus, you got to forgive yourself for being, I guess, mind controlled by his brother during the end of the Krakoa times.
Yeah.
And you got to forgive yourself. You didn't let me go or whatever. I'm grown up now. I can take care of myself. And basically, they're on their way to Russia, or they're on their way, I think, to St. Petersburg to track down whoever the big bad is here. And they get attacked by these kind of crazy mermaids that are some Russian folktale or something. And they defeat those, but I guess for whatever reason, Colossus doesn't want to jump in the water to fight them. But Magic kind of goes down there and he kind of zaps them. There's a nice page there where she kind of electrocutes. Yeah, this one here where she electrocutes them all at once. And, I thought that was the end of the story. He brings them up, but they run into some little elf or something that's a magic creature. And he kind of revealed a bit of the story of who the master is. And basically those mermaids or sirens, as they call them, they were protecting the entrance to this church. So Magic goes into the church to find the magic artifact that can bring them to the master of those sirens. And of course she runs, and Colossus was going to guard outside to make sure nobody goes in. Fucking worst plan ever. But anyway, she runs into some magic character, and then Magic thinks she can use her magic, but his magic is of old Russian times, and he kind of tells Liliana is like, "Oh, you've never studied your own magic. How can you call yourself a mage or whatever you want to call him?" And he opens up some portal and drags Magic down with her. And of course, as Colossus runs in to try and save her, by the time he gets there, the portal's closed, and now it's all his old fears are coming back to him again. Not the greatest, but it's some still good characters. But I give it a 3.5.
Yeah. I think on a week that wasn't so light, you probably would have ended up skipping this. I feel like you would just feel like whatever.
So, I like these characters. I like Colossus.
Same, yeah.
But what are they doing with these people? Freaking having running around in Russia and fighting fairy tales. Come
on. So next up, I got a few here that I read this week. Tigress Island #1. I didn't have a chance to put the art up for this one, but I got the not safe for work variant. So watch out, Chris. Here we go. So this paper was like in front of it in the poly bag. I did open it though, because I got it for the cover, so I wanted to open it up. And this is Luciana Vecchio, I think, or Luana Vecchio, I think is her name, the artist. Yeah, Luana Vecchio. I quite like her art, so I got her cover. And I mean, it's hard to notice even. I mean, there's some nipple kind of like action going on here. You see some slight nipple, but I thought that was still like.
I think it's safe for work.
Yeah, like I didn't think it was that bad. I'm like, you really had to kind of look like the way they colored it to see. But anyways, I like it. It was a nice cover. So like she was like covered in blood and stuff like that. So I'm happy with the purchase from that standpoint for the cover. But the story wasn't that bad. It's basically playing on like tropes of like like exploitation films of women in prison, like those type of films that they would do back in like the 70s and stuff like that. Like I guess that was like a genre of film, right? This kind of thing, or like people on a prison planet or something like that. So they're kind of playing on those tropes in this storyline here, clearly. And the issue opens up with like a bunch of like different women, like, like really good looking, well dressed, like women that are all meeting for the first time with somebody who's like almost like the handler, the guy that like put everything together. And they're basically saying, okay, so we're going to take you guys. You're going to basically be like these guys' arm candy for the night. You don't have to have sex with them. Like, this isn't an escort situation, but you are going to be accompanying these people and, look presentable. And like, you're going to be like, basically they're just getting hired for this kind of thing. They're kind of like, some of them have like call girl kind of experience. Some of them are like, and then you kind of see like some like flashbacks about kind of like where they've all kind of come from, or they're kind of describing themselves to one another as they're introducing each other. And, but yeah, I think there's 4-5 women. And then there's the one woman who's like with the actual guy that shows up to this place to meet all of them. And then basically they're all at dinner. And then the next thing you know, they wake up and it's like, they're in the darkness. They're in a like, they're basically like all prisoners somewhere, and they're feeling it around like, and then none of them remember how they got there. They're feeling around in the darkness. And then they realize that like they're in the same spot that they were at. Like, they're sitting in the chairs that they were sitting in the restaurant, but they're not in a restaurant setting anymore. And it's like almost like this whole restaurant that they were sitting in was like part of like I don't know, like a shipping container or something like that. Like, basically, like, it was just all like smoke and mirrors, the situation. Yeah. And then like this woman comes in who's like this really good looking, like, basically, I wouldn't say like what I thought I was going to get from this series, at least in this first issue. It didn't really exhibit that. Like, it's not like, it's cheesecakey where everyone's got huge, like, bosoms and all that, like cleavage going on, but it's also like no nudity in the issue so far. So like, it's not like, it's not like XXX kind of like stuff going on here, at least not yet. Like, but then, if the not safe for work cover and all that may have kind of given people that impression, but then this woman like comes in, like this really tall, good looking, like, long legs, kind of, big boob chick comes in, and she's basically like the taskmaster. She's just like, all right, this is what's happening now. You guys, like, basically they find out they're all being held hostage on this island, essentially. And that's kind of where the issue ends. Like, they're kind of like all like frazzled. They don't know what the hell's going on. They're basically like, this is how it's going to work now. Like, you're stuck here. You're our prisoners. And I guess we'll see where this goes. But I mean, like, they're just not, and like on the island, there's all these other women that are coexisting there that have already been previously taken to this island. So it's like a whole operation that they kind of got working out here, basically. And I guess we'll have to see. It seems like the woman that's going to kind of rise above it out of this group is the one that was there with the handler that somehow got thrown in with all these other women. Like, she's kind of now just part of like the general status quo, even though you thought
she was like the inside person, and now
exactly. And she's like, what the hell am I doing here? Basically, right? So like, yeah, so the art is a very interesting art style. It's like very indie-ish kind of looking art. It's very unique looking. It's not what you would normally see in like a big 2 comic. So like, I like the art. The art's interesting. I don't mind it. But again, it's just not what I was expecting. You're not getting fucking, all out cheesecakey kind of like art. And I think it's for the better for it, honestly. Like, I think
it sounds like the art's fitting the vibe of the comic.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's interesting so far. I give it 3.75 out of 5. Nice. I think it's a 5-issue miniseries. I don't think I'll be picking up additional issues just because like I got this mainly for the cover artist. But that being said, I'll probably continue reading it for the show if I can. If I read it digitally, yeah, it was good. Yeah,
check out the spec. Could be hot.
Yeah. Hulk Smash Everything #4. I got to tell you, with every issue of this series, I'm really enjoying this miniseries. I think it's only one more issue to go. Ryan North is doing a great job on this. I think he actually is one of their more promising writers between this and like One World Under Doom and Fantastic Four. I actually think he's doing good work for Marvel, honestly. And I feel like he kind of gets overshadowed because he doesn't do as many books outside of the Fantastic Four. But this has been a super fun mini series of the Hulk. I just love how the stakes kind of keep getting bigger and bigger, and they have to figure out, like, the Hulk has to figure a way out of them every time. And yeah, basically this is him destroying the Earth in this issue, where all the heroes, he gets enraged so much from all the shit that happened to him previous to this issue, that all the heroes, they basically send him like to the Arctic or something in this, and then he pounds the ground so much he travels to the core of the Earth, and then he basically is shifting like the tectonic plates of the molten core of, like, in the actual, like, and then Ryan North hits you with all this like scientific stuff. Exactly. So it's super fun, doesn't take itself seriously, but it's also well written, and it actually, again, like, he comes at you with like the scientific type of side of his Fantastic Four stuff in every issue, in a way. Because last issue, for instance, he was in space, so they were talking about all this black holes in space, and in this one, they're like, okay, well, what would happen if I put Hulk in the center of the Earth, and he could destroy the Earth as a result of him ground pounding the shit out of it and going crazy? So just super fun. I like this a lot. I give this a 4 out of 5 this issue. I actually might pick up the trade of this when it comes out, because I've been reading this digitally. But this is a fun Hulk story. I gotta say, it's just nice to see a fun, dumb Hulk kind of like throwbacky kind of vibe in this here. Like, and listen, I've been loving what's been going on in Infernal Hulk lately, but this is kind of like the Hulk that I grew up with in here, right? So this is good stuff. I really enjoyed it. Next up, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 16. Not too much to add about this one. Just where we last left off last issue, he was going to kill Casey Jones, if you recall, because the Ujigami he found out, which is we found out was Splinter. He basically is going to kill Casey because he got a vision from his wife in the afterlife that if he doesn't kill him, like, that was like his next target. Like, in the future, he's going to end up killing one of the turtles. So he's trying to protect his sons. So he's kind of continuing on this whole like revenge kind of arc here, where he's basically just trying to, like, take care of business before it actually happens. But he's so convinced in the visions that he's been getting from the afterlife and from his wife, apparently, that he needs to kind of, he won't let anything get in his way. But of course, the turtles, it's like, hey, listen, this is Casey, our friend. They get in between they get in his way here, and they actually stop him from killing Casey. And then he ends up fighting his sons. And, listen, there's a reason why he's the master. He's the one that taught them. So he kind of messes them all up at one point. And then he's like, did you forget what I taught you guys? Like, and he's kind of like just single-handedly like taking them all down. And then all of a sudden, like, they start remembering certain techniques that he had told them, and they're like, and then they're able to get a one up on him. He's like, oh, okay, so you have remembered, right? So then he kind of scurries off. He's like, okay, we'll have to take care of this later then. And then he's like, this isn't gonna go anywhere. He's like, I'm not gonna hurt my son. So he screws off there for a bit, and then he ends up going to face off that what's the other one, like the Ijigami or whatever. There's another that witch. Yeah, the cat. Yeah, the one that's like transforming, that's been helping Karai, who's running the hand now. So then he goes and sets his sights on going there, and he ends up fighting that witch woman. He doesn't expect to see her there, the Ijigami, and when he comes to kind of confront Karai and I guess take her out because she's part of the hand, he ends up being faced with having to fight her and the Ijigami person. And then, of course, he got all the Foot Clan there as well. So he ends up getting overwhelmed by everybody, and they take him down. And now it looks like they're holding him prisoner. And I guess it's up for the Turtles now to, I guess, go and save him. They destroy his mask. So basically, like, they destroyed his Ujigami mask. So I don't even think he has that power anymore. And I guess we'll see where this goes next issue. Interesting story. I do like that they're all at odds. I like that he comes back from the dead at the end of Jason Aaron's arc, only to be now in this situation where his sons and him are at odds with each other. So it's like, it's like a bittersweet moment. We got him back, but he's like in the middle of this like weird arc where he's like, they're on the outs with each other, right? So it's interesting. I'm glad they just didn't go back to like the status quo right away with him coming back from the dead, right? So they're kind of really playing this out. I'll give this a 3.75 out of 5 this week. You know, it's verging on a 4. I think this is a good storyline that's happening in the Turtles right now. So, and then you got the seasons number 9. This has been off the shelves for a while. I feel like it's been like a few months since the last issue that we saw, right? I think it took a little break in between arcs. And I guess kind of where we left off, not much has changed. Like, you know, it's really just her working with her one sister here, the one that hasn't been kind of corrupted or taken over by these like circus people or whatever that guy is. And in this one, they're basically trying to just maneuver around and try to figure out a way to kind of, you know, stop this from happening to their town, because like obviously it's being transformed and all this stuff is happening. And her other sisters have been compromised, and one of them seems to be kind of working with him now. Winter or whatever, I think, is the season of the one who's like up in this tower. And so she's basically trying to make her way to her and help her, but it seems like she's helping the bad guy right now, this one sister. So I don't know what's happening with all that. And I guess we'll find out. It's still unfolding. But I will say, like, it didn't do itself any favors for me, like jumping back in at this point from being off the stands for a while, because clearly, as you can probably tell with my description of the plot, I'm a little lost as to what's going on again now. So I mean, it's probably going to take a couple of issues to kind of get back into the swing of things. So anyways, but you know, I still thought the art was good. The story was good. You know, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5 this week. And then Ordained number 2, a Bad Idea comic. This is, again, that John Wick as a priest storyline. If you remember, I talked about it. It's basically like a guy who used to be in this issue. You find out he was also like he's part of like a Navy SEAL or something like that. Like he was like, you know, he's highly trained, and he was, I guess, like in the military or Navy or SEAL or something. Yeah, Navy SEAL, I think. So like he was like one of those extraction guys, basically, like that works for the government. Like so they show all this stuff with him, like in a scenario where he ended up like somebody who was like he was supposed to save, he ends up dying in his past. So I think that's why he turned to God and became a priest. But then as a result of him and his past, he's just highly skilled and trained. That's why I kind of said he's like a John Wick of sorts. But now this priest is in the middle of like this mobster kind of hit now on his head as a result of being mixed up with like this stuff that happened with these mobsters. An old mobster was about to die. He was like the head of the family, and he told him all the secrets on his like confessional on his deathbed. And now that he's survived, he wants to go take this guy out because he knows too much. And that's kind of where now he's in the middle of this whole scenario, but he's like a highly skilled kind of guy who they don't know about his past. So that's kind of where we're at with this. And this one, he messes a lot of guys up. I mean, he basically takes out a lot of guys, and he's rocking the priest, you know, the attire, the whole issue. And then at the end of the issue, he messes so many people up in this guy's crew that he's like, that's it. Get me the machine. And then he's like, the guy's like, oh, the machine. And then basically the next issue that they're going to be coming out with is a one shot called The Machine. That's going to basically show you who this guy is. And I guess that now they're going to like bring him into the story and to take this guy out. So yeah, it again, it just feels very much like one of those like really good action movie, revenge movies, like a John Wick or something like that, or Taken. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I'm liking this story. It's pretty good. It definitely reads like they're going to make a movie out of this kind of thing. You know what I mean? But it's good. It's good stuff. All right, Chris, Harley Quinn, Elvira, number 5.
Yeah, this is a fun comic. It leans heavy into it. You know, there's no pretense that this is some sort of action comic or something. They're just having fun with it. I think all the jokes hit. I think the art, you know, it suits this comic 100%. I think I don't even know bother to tell you what goes on here, but somehow there's some guy. I almost looks like Colossus. I forget what his name is, but
Bartox.
Yeah, he invites Elvira and Harley Quinn to be his dates on, you know, some royal wedding on some other planet, and you know, of course, they're a little suspicious about that. Then he offers them, you know, a bucket of diamonds. And you have a few pages there of what each of these girls would spend all their money on, and you know, it's just kind of fun stuff there. Then they end up at the wedding, and I don't know, these kind of teddy bears basically they kidnap Elvira and take her back to their planet. And it seems like on their planet, they've been, intercepting radio waves of her show, and they feel that she's, like some goddess or something, and they all revere her and adore her. And the whole planet is almost based in there. When she does get in there, she seems to be, kind of happy about, all this attention. And Vartox is, and Harley, they're on their way to rescue her, and you're thinking, what are they going to rescue her from? But then they do find out that on this planet of whatever teddy bears, they realize that the people they adore, they end up eating. And this whole time, while she's being kind of pampered, she's sitting in, like a hot tub, which I guess might have been a soup or something. Oh, but even at that wedding too, that one scene with I call it's just almost like a side panel, that like a throwaway panel that you don't even see, or you don't even, like, it's not critical to the story. It's like, oh, I pronounce you man and mantis. And then, you see Harley going, what the heck is this? And then the mantis freaking rips the head off the guy. And then, Vartox goes, oh, that's just the way things go here. And then Harley pukes on all of them, and basically they're already skedaddling out of there. And of course now, they're trying to fight to save Elvira. And I guess these teddy bears, they unleash these, I don't know, those dogs or something, and they seem to be sort of invincible and indestructible. And well, I guess we saw the splash page there at the end. It's like Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah,
you had Elvira holding Harley there. I guess what's her name shows up too. Power Girl shows back up in there, and there's some funny scenes there where I think Power Girl is watching the Superman movie, and they're talking about Supergirl in there and Crypto, and it's just all kind of fun stuff that hits, and it works.
Yeah,
I thought it's a great comic.
Absolutely. I wish these guys would come back and write Harley Quinn again, quite frankly. But if this is where I'm going to get their take on Harley in these little mini series for these other companies, I'll take it. I like you said, I don't want all my comics to be this way, but this scratches a nice itch of, like you said, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's got some funny jokes in it, and it's just fun stuff. Yeah. And this is what the Harley comics should be. Like, this is what, like, the tone that they really should be. And they just haven't been, since I feel like Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti haven't wrote her series, I think, since Rebirth. I think DC Rebirth was the last time that they started her series, their ongoing series, through New 52, and they wrote it all the way through like they've done like a crazy amount of issues they wrote for Harley Quinn. So they've put in enough time for the series. You know what I mean? I get it. They weren't going to write it forever, but here they are back again, writing an Elvira comic with her. So, like, I just think they should just throw them a mini series every now and then.
Every once in a while. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about that. If they did another one, I'd probably jump on it.
Yeah, same. So this is one more issue to go too. I think this is the second last issue. Number 6, I think, is the last ones, which I think it's good. We'll have gotten our fill of that. What'd you give this?
I'm gonna have to give it a 4, as I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll give it 3.75 out of 5. But I did really enjoy it as well. Good stuff. And then we got Sirens Love Hurts number 2. Harley once again here on this cover.
Yeah, I think I got my copy on back order or something. But I read these sort of back to back and in this order, which I think might have been a mistake. I'm not saying that Sirens is bad. But after reading, the Harley Quinn there, I think the Sirens is still going for the same tone. But I don't think I'm the target audience for this comic. It's still a fun comic. I enjoy the art. I think it's funny with, the things I like, whatever. Harley, I think she's saying that all the girls there are dick busy or something the whole time. I thought that's fun stuff. The scenes with Batman and Catwoman, I think that's hilarious there. It's nice to see Batman as a horn dog every once in a while. You don't see that in the comics too often. But here they're trying to mix in an actual kind of, detective story or DC story, which does seem to be working now that, it's revealed that this Zodiac killer is a female too. So, I think it's all fun stuff. I'm enjoying this. But I think it's hard to it's hard to figure out if it's supposed to be a funny comic or, like an action comic. This mix isn't mixing so well, let's say.
I agree that I don't feel like, yeah, you're right. Like I'm the target audience for this book either, but I gotta say, with this second issue, between the art and some of the dialogue, I really enjoyed it. Actually, I think this is, I'm digging it. I like that. First issue, I didn't get that vibe, but the second issue, like, and then if you look at the cover, it's 17 plus. Like they're swearing it like in this issue, like a bit, but like not overdoing it. Like kind of just like, and there is a lot of like talk about them, like, hooking up and with people. Like you get the Batman Catwoman scene that was kind of spicy a little bit. Like I like the vibe of what they're going for here. I mean, it definitely does feel like, I don't know, like Sex in the City kind of.
I was thinking Sex in the City too, and that was a great show, but
right,
that wasn't made for the guys either.
No, but I think they're clearly, I appreciate that they're hitting this type of tone and they're going for something with this series is what I'm saying. Yeah, whether or not it's for me or something I normally would read, but I came here for the art, and I'll see how this plays out. I'm in it for the rest of the miniseries. I just think it is well done for whatever. I appreciate that they're trying to go for something different in terms of tone and writing in this. Like, it may not be my usual cup of tea, like, or something that I seek out, but at least they're trying something, and I think they're succeeding, quite frankly.
Well, I think they did better than the last Gotham City Sirens.
Absolutely.
Things like that.
Absolutely.
I think that just the only downside is they put this out on the wrong week. You can't put this out on the same week as Harley and Elvira.
That's a good point.
You can look into that.
That's a good point.
If I read this next week, I probably would enjoy it a whole lot more.
I guarantee you Dynamite pushed to have that out on the same week as this, probably, honestly, just because even though that's a DC Dynamite collaboration, maybe they were trying to push for sales. People that would pick that up may want to go pick this up too, right? I don't know. There must be some science behind how they do that shit. But anyways, what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75. It's still a fun comic. I like the art. I like the characters in there, and I like the way they get along. Or they interact, let's say, because they don't really get along.
No. Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. I'll give this also a 3.75 out of 5. It's good stuff. Then we got Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant, #2.
Ooh, did you read this? Because holy smokes, I almost just stopped reading it in the middle of this. Once it came to, I don't even know who those people are. Because this beginning stuff was okay. I'm fine with this, whatever. I think Wanda is trying to explain to Storm, the world of magic ain't so easy. If you're going to be fighting whoever she's fighting for the fate of the world, you shouldn't take it so lightly. Your mutant powers aren't going to help you here. But then they go into something else where they're talking about getting the gods to help fights. I didn't even know who they're trying to fight or who they're trying to help. And right there, I almost put it down. And I go, okay, well, what the heck? I might as well just finish it out here. And it didn't get better as it went through. Like, I don't know where this comic shifted, where this used to be one of my favorites, in that first run out of the blue, and then when it kind of got some goodwill towards it, now I'm trying to read it and see what's going on. It's like, I don't know.
No, and you're right, Chris. I totally agree with you. I think I liked the first issue more than you did when we returned back to this. You still didn't, I don't think, love that either. I still thought it had some merit to it, had some interesting things they were playing around with in terms of like the way the storyline has developed and like the direction it was going. But I think the problem is they've kind of brought this character to like now, like she's involved with magic and just like, I can't like, there's so much kind of going on here and new ideas.
She's addressing the world at one point.
She's what?
Is she like addressing the world at one point when she says, "Oh, I have to go away"? Yeah. And then now she has all these refugees on her sanctuary city. Like, how big is this thing floating in the air? Is this like a freaking state of Texas floating up in the air? And then and there's crazy things going on in there. There's just way too much going on in here.
Yes.
And I'm not really enjoying any of the I'm not enjoying this magic story with her fighting. I'm not enjoying maybe what's going on her sanctuary city, and then now somehow she's a spokesperson for the world where she's addressing the world. Like, oh, I have to leave, and she's leaving her storm engines to protect the city. And then I think what was going on in those last pages where they're trying to explain, or they're setting up for the next issue. Like, that cliffhanger, or if it's supposed to be a cliffhanger, it just left me like clueless, not even, looking forward to anything. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Because now this jumps to the future in this last page here. Like, it's like showing you, I think it's getting confusing. I think they're introducing too many new things to the storyline. And I think you're right. I think it's just got it. This series, the previous one was always, we were complimenting how you used to be complimenting it about how it was weird and different, and it was an interesting series for Storm. But I feel like they've introduced so many different concepts and have changed the characters so much at this point. Like, it's just a mess. Like, to unpack everything that's going on in this series is it's out there. It's definitely used to be a series I really enjoyed, but I don't know about this newest outing, this newest miniseries. It's a shame too, because I think prior to, actually towards the end of that run, it got kind of weird too. Actually, I gotta say, like, I thought that most of the run was good, but then before they took that time out for the event, it kind of screwed things up for everything. And now I don't know what, she's like a god now, and she has magic. I don't know what's going on now. So
yeah, that's too much.
What'd you give it?
I got 3.5.
I probably go 3.25 on this one as well, verging on a 3, honestly. Like, it's got too messy for me in this issue. Yeah. And then finally, Black Cat number 8. And we got the 2 covers for this one. I got the Carrie Andrews connecting cover here, the Venom one, and with Mary Jane on the other one, and this Adam Hughes one, which is kind of fun too.
Yeah, I'm not like, I didn't ask for this Adam Hughes, but if it's out there, it's still a fun cover. Once I saw it there, didn't get tired of Mary Jane and Black Cat on the covers, and they're looking good there. And of course, Carrie Andrews, you can put them back together there if you want to.
Oh, sweet!
See how they connect.
Nice.
But that's a great Carrie Andrews cover, and I'm still enjoying this comic. It's a fun comic. I don't really care that the story is kind of baloney. I just love having Black Cat and Mary Jane whenever they're interacting with each other, where they're friendly, but they're not friendly. And, they're kind of just in some crazy situation in the negative zone. And I think here Mary Jane realizes, what the heck am I doing trying to, I think it's one of the things we talked about in the last issue where, she's seeking out Black Cat's help to steal some tape that might have her in a compromising situation from years ago. And I think here she realizes, what the heck am I doing trying to get some tape? Don't worry, I can figure this out. But of course, now they're in the middle of it, so they got to follow it out to the end. And, you think it's all about this, her trying to get some tape. And I don't know what's in this negative zone. There's a castle that has all these sort of ancient artifacts. They spend a lot of time arguing how they're going to figure things out. And then I guess the Black Cat picks up the Siege Perilous, and
yeah,
if I remember correctly, is that something from like back in the X-Men day with what's his name, the guy that was freaking the Australian Outback guy that would swing the rock around and send them to places?
Yeah, you're right.
I forget what his name is, but
Warpath. What the hell is his name?
He had the white hair. He just sat on the rock. He never really spoke at all.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He was the Aborigine guy. But anyways, if that's the same Siege Perilous from there, and like this story takes at least the next issue, looks like it's going to take a whole like left turn there, because now they're looking to the Siege Perilous, and supposedly if you look into it, something bad's going to happen. So
Gateway, that was his name.
Gateway, yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
That's what I remember the last time that Siege Perilous was going on. So who knows where this issue is going to go next one? So I'm all down for it.
It's one of the big like Marvel artifacts. You know how there's like the Ultimate Nullifier, and there's like it's one of the. If they're gonna find something in the negative zone, it was a fun kind of reveal that was what they kind of came across at the end of this issue. I'm still having fun with this series. I like you said, like I know you kind of said like baloney stories, whatever. Like maybe but like they're capers. They're like
but they're not following that story all the way through. Like you take it to this issue. Now this issue looks like it's going to take a freaking huge left turn, and I'm all down for that.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. I think I kind of started out kind of like that, like Mickey Mouse type of story, like whatever. Like
it almost makes that Mickey Mouse story better now that you're going to start out with some baloney premise and freaking have it spiral into something super crazy.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I mean, that way they ended it was very interesting. And again, like you said, just seeing them spend time together and interact with one another has been fun. And I still, I enjoy the art still on this series. It's good. It's good fun. I am enjoying it. Like I did not expect that to happen. But again, this story again has been so weird and different than what we kind of normally are treated to with this character. I guess that we, I haven't been able to tell you what's going to happen next. And I mean, what issues she's got, like a vampire council after her, this one, like just like weird stuff like that going on in this series. But I'm here for it. It's fun. I dig it.
I hope they keep this artist all the way through, because that could be one thing, unless they get some, they bring in some good artists. But if they get some freaking some baloney artist to do some fill-in issue, that could really freaking let some steam out of this one here. But so far, we're going through, and I hope it'll pass that 10-issue curse. We'll see.
Yeah. What'd you give this?
I got a 3.75.
Yeah, same. Yeah, good issue. Good series so far. I'm enjoying it. All right. That's going to do it for this week of comics, what we read, guys. But let's talk about what we're looking forward to checking out next week, which is the week of March 18th, 2026.
All right, let's see. We'll pull this up here. So I'll start out with Marvel. I'll probably be reading the Ultimates 22, Ultimate Wolverine 15. I got that pulled. Amazing Spider-Man 24. See what happens with this. The Death Spiral. No variant thing. I just went for the A cover there. Captain America 8. I'm kind of looking forward to see the beginnings of this Chip Zdarsky sort of architecture that he's building for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe read X-Men 27. I'll try and read Cyclops 2. Infernal Hulk 5, definitely reading that. I think I might get on a pull list down the road. Maybe Sentry. I've never read much of him, but let's see. She-Hulk 5, I think that last one was in a good spot. Daredevil 1's coming in. I didn't get any of those blind bags, though. You got any of those True Believer blind bags?
I think I got one. I think I got one issue, which is the blind bag. I didn't get like a regular cover, I think. I
went for the Daniel Warren Johnson cover. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I got the DWJ cover. You're right. I don't know if I got any blind bags. I may have just got the DWJ, but we'll see.
Blind bag might freaking drop here, because I remember just seeing who's in the blind bags. I don't think there's anything special coming out of them,
That's the thing. There's just regular covers in them. So, like, why bother going that route? It's very strange. I don't know why they're doing that. Yeah.
I think that might be it for Marvel. Let's see what we got cooking for DC. I'll read the Batman Superman World's Finest. Lobo #1. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'll probably reading Batman #1. Maybe. I thought they did a preview of the Batman or Batwoman #1. That didn't really tickle my fancy, but we'll see what's going on. Wonder Woman. I think we're starting these Wonder Wars. I think I have a Matea de Luis variant. That's one with the matriarch there. Maybe I'll read Deathstroke the Terminator, see what's happening there. An End of Life. Is that the Kyle Starks Vertigo? Yeah. I'll read that too.
Nice.
And let's see. Image. What's Image cooking? Oh, Invincible Battle Beast #7. Looking forward to that. Exquisite Corpses.
Yep.
G.I. Joe 20. Geiger 22. Ooh, big week.
Good Image week.
Yeah. Those Image. Wrestle Heist 4 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those Image comics, those ones that I'm following and reading, I'm always looking forward to reading. They're always good.
Yeah, some good stuff there. Yeah. So what am I reading here? I'm reading Absolute Flash 13, Ultimates 22, Ultimate Wolverine 15. I'm picking up. Amazing Spider-Man 24. I'm picking up. Yeah, Batman Superman World's Finest 49. We're back to big weeks here, it looks like, next week. Captain America 8, I'm picking up. Invincible Battle Beast, I'm picking up. I think I got a McFarlane cover for that one, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I got that one too.
Lobo #1, I'm picking up. Batwoman #1, I'm picking up. Wonder Woman 31, I'll be reading. Exquisite Corpses, I'm grabbing. G.I. Joe 20, I'm grabbing. Infernal Hulk, I'll be reading. #5. Yeah, good week. Geiger 22, I'll be reading. I might read Wade Wilson Deadpool #2. I thought the first issue.
I'll probably read that. The first one wasn't too bad.
First one wasn't bad. Yeah, End of Life #2. I'm definitely gonna be checking out. Oh, looks like you got an issue of Starship Godzilla coming out next week too, Chris. #6. Super Creep Show #1.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll be reading that too.
And then Wrestle Heist, you said #4. I'll be reading. Oh, and the conclusion of Devil on My Shoulder by Kyle Starks comes out next week too. Last issue of that. So yes, some good stuff. Some good stuff there. Oh, and Powers. Damn, it's a big week. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what we get to here because there's a lot of good stuff. But yeah, stuff I'm picking up though. Yeah, there's just as many things I'm reading digitally, it looks like, in comparison to what I'll be picking up. So yeah, it should be good. All right, Chris, your favorite book of the week.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, of course, Absolute Batman could be in there. Other than that, I don't think there's other ones. But after talking about it, I got to give it to Transformers. This is like a status quo change here. You know, I think the whole tone of this comic's changing after this issue.
Yeah.
Well, it's not battle on Cybertron either. It's got to be freaking Megatron and Optimus, you know, fighting it out. And I figured once they realize that there's, I don't know, maybe this Elita one doesn't realize that there's Energon on Earth, because I think basically both the Autobots and the Decepticons are still unaware of Energon reserves on Earth. And I think once they find that out, maybe Earth won't be such a, you know, the piss poor, you know, Tatooine that they think it is.
Yeah, because the G.I. Joe characters more know about all that stuff with the Energon right now, right? And they're trying to, like, I think some Transformers, like the one that's been with them, is
but he's not communicating with the Transformers. Right. He's still by himself.
That's right. So once that happens, that's when the war is going to happen between these characters on Earth, right? So they're also going to be in their own war soon, so it doesn't matter, right? But yeah, some solid stuff this week. Hulk smashed everything. #4 was fun. Absolute Batman, another solid issue as always. Venom 2255. I think that storyline is coming along. But yeah, like you, Chris, it's undeniable. It's Transformers 30. Like, there's really good scenes in this issue this week, and again, just like a status quo changer for the future of the comic in this, or for the last little while, for the next little while, anyways. So yeah, I gotta go with Transformers 30. Yeah, for my favorite as well this week. So there you have it, guys. That's our favorite book of the week. Both agree on that one. Make sure to tune back in for another great big week of comics next week for episode 222. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, Chris.
All right, cheers.